Hey there, it's Colleen Flanagan, Mind Body Wisdom expert, EFT practitioner, and author of this best-selling book on Amazon, Fearless Accurate Dowsing. I want to talk today about boundaries. And if you're someone like me who, in the past, it's been difficult for me to say no to people, and I learned that from my mom, who was a very giving person, and my dad was a very giving person, and we were always taught as children, to love and to give back and treat people as equals and things like that. But when you get older, sometimes people take advantage. I would like to just do some tapping today on getting rid of a fear of saying no, which means setting your boundaries and sticking by them. So we're just going to do some EFT, and we're going to do the newer style that Gary Craig taught, which is without the 9 gamut and stuff, unless I feel like doing it, you never know. So just start by doing 3 setup statements here by tapping on the acupoints, the acupressure points here on your karate chop points, which is right here. And what you're doing is just sort of telling your energy bodies, pay attention, this is what we're going to do. And you just say something like, even though I'm afraid of being rejected or abandoned, if I say no to loved ones or at work or in my volunteerism, wherever it is you have the difficulty, I choose to release this now. Release this fear of being rejected, abandoned, when I say no, and enforce my boundaries. Even though I have this fear that it's not safe for me to say no or to stick to my boundaries when people try to take advantage of me, and I'm afraid of a confrontation. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I'm not a weenie, I'm not a wussy, I'm just a very kind, generous person that doesn't like to say no. I choose to release this fear of confrontation as well. Even though I'm terrified that if I say no, the bad times will never end. That people be nagging me and bugging me, and I thought you were a nice person, I thought you were a good person. That's how they use you, right? I choose to release this fear that if I say no and enforce my boundaries and my personal time and my self-care to others, including children, grandchildren, any kind of family. Family's good for trumping on our boundaries, right? Just popping over, figuring like we have nothing else to do, so I'm just going to drop in and interrupt your day. Nope, that ain't going to happen. I now choose to release this fear of saying no and enforcing my boundaries. I release this fear that it's going to lead to so many problems and such. It's time for me to let this go, because when you're afraid, you make unwise decisions, and you probably will just say, oh, okay, yes. So let's go. Start tapping at the top of the head, which is actually the 7th chakra. I release this fear of enforcing my boundaries and saying no. Between the eyes, I like to do, as you know, 2 at a time if I can, but you can just do 1 here on the inside of either eyebrow. Releasing my fear now of saying no and it leading to conflict. Releasing my fear and terror of saying no and enforcing my boundaries and standing by my boundaries, because it's going to lead to bad times, and I'm going to see someone get mad at me, upset with me, devalue me, maybe get angry with me, because we know how people control via anger, right? I now release this fear of saying no and enforcing my boundaries, and bad things come in my way, or being looked at as being wrong or bad or a selfish, greedy person. That's not true. You're not a selfish, greedy person. You should say no when you feel something isn't right or you don't have the time. Don't give all yourself away. You won't have anything left. And then you won't be good to anyone, including yourself. Could end up getting sick, your immune system being suppressed by the overflowing of tasks and a giant to-do list because you couldn't say no. Been there, done that. Now releasing here via the end points of the governing vessel meridian. And if you feel a really nice place here, like a sweet spot, just tap on it. Stay there a little bit longer if you want. Releasing my fear, and of course this is around the mouth, right? Releasing my fear of saying no. Releasing my fear of enforcing my boundaries, because it'll lead to confrontation or people thinking I'm greedy, I'm selfish. Under here, the endpoints of the conception vessel meridian, the female meridian, I now let go of my fears of saying no. Fears that I'm going to be rejected or abandoned by loved ones, or they're going to get angry and upset. They probably will. But you know, as you release your fears, you're not going to buckle to their demands. Now the collarbone points, I let go of my fear of saying no. I let go of my fear of changing into a person who enforces their boundaries and can say no. Nope, no time. And if someone asks you why, I hate that. I told you no. You don't dare question me. It's my life. How dare you? I started saying to people, you know what? I'm 70 years old. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. So back off. Back off. A little bit of my Midwestern accent coming out there. Back off. Letting go of this fear, this anxiety, that when I say no, consequences will come. Because probably they did as a kid, right? That's where this is coming from. Now we're going to tap under our armpit, like the center of the armpit. You might find a sweet spot there too. I know there's some spleen points, acupressure points down there. I now release, going all the way back to my childhood, this fear and terror of saying no, of setting boundaries. Because when you say no to your parents as a kid, that is not good. Consequences do follow. At least they did in my family. Oh my goodness. Never say no. Unless someone was trying to talk you into doing something immoral or illegal. And now do the other side just for the heck of it. Tapping under the armpit. I now release my fear and terror of saying no. Going back to childhood or my teen years. Or maybe I was afraid to say no because I would lose their love. I let go of that too, especially in my lymph system. You can do like a double one. Just tap like this, sort of like hugging yourself and tapping, hugging and tapping. And then we can go back to this point as I let go of this fear, saying no, I feel safe to be strong and empowered again. Say no. If you don't like it, oh well. You weren't really much of a friend or a family member if you got mad at me for saying no. Now it's one thing, and what I'm doing is tapping the outside of the nails here. A lot of acupressure points there. That's old school EFT. Let go of this fear of saying no. And consequences coming and people getting angry with me. Of course, it's never good, in my opinion, if you agree to do something and then you back out and say no, unless emergency or something happened, you know. But when people come up to you and say, oh, could you do this? I know you volunteered all this time in the past and you've reached your volunteer limit for the month, but could you do this? No. Oh, are you busy? I don't have to explain. Just no. You don't have to be nasty, even though you might feel like it. Just say no. So that's today's EFT tapping session. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Please leave some comments if you like this. And remember, take good care of yourself. You are a treasure. You are beloved. Peace out. Namaste. Get 10 free chapters of my Fearless Accurate Dowsing book on my website, emorescue.com. There's also links to all my Amazon books and other interesting information. Thank you.